Didn't make a whole lot of, I had such a busy day. I really didn't make a whole lot of headroom on my other obligations today. So it is what it is. I hope everybody's doing well. Sorta Morta, it's nice to see you up in chat this evening. We've got some discussions related to this case, as well as some updates on some information. I'm just learning about 3 hours ago, when the Republican National Convention started, that there was somebody that was unalived by police near the Republican National Convention. So I'm just going to go play that before we get started on our meat and potatoes, and then I'll say hi to everybody. Let me make sure my chat is chat settings. Sorry about that. Chat settings. It's doing that to me. I'm just trying to find the chat settings and it won't let me push it. So I don't know how to change my settings. Let me see if it's this one. Hey guys, it's nice to see you. It's not letting me do, there we go. Jeez, Louisa. I just wanted to see all messages, that's all. Ren, thank you. I don't know if you were seeing me earlier or everything, but I think I got everything. I got the coffee today. Thank you. You have been absolutely so gracious. God bless you for that. Delilah loves her little toys and her blanket. I don't know what the heck I did with the brown one. I think she stuffed it somewhere, because I thought it was on the floor. Like, I got the pink one in here because she doesn't sleep in her bed while she's in my bed. So I put the pink one in here, and I got the white one in her bed. And I had the brown one in here covering her up, and I think I took it out there, and I think she put it up under the couch or the recliner. I don't know what she did with it. I didn't do anything with it. It was here. It was here. It was here. It's nice to see everybody today. Sorta Morta, Mickey, Chaos. It's nice to see you, Love Bug. Rebecca, Rin, Car Guy, Alana, Natalie, Stacy, Robin, Crystal Pistol. It's nice to see you. Beverly, it's great to see you as well. We got Rebecca, Donna, Serenity. It's nice to see you. Sadie, coming from England. Did I have it right? The UK? I don't know what you guys call it anymore. I'm so sorry. I'm not globally diverse. True Crime Addict, it's nice to see you. Share Bear, Cinda, it's nice to see you. Athena, Emily, and Tanya. Do we? Oh wait, it still keeps saying go down. So it's nice to see everybody. Mama Bear, Grand Theft Autism. Aw, it's nice to have you here. Sherry, Marcy, is it Marsha, Grammy, Lisa B. Always, Oma, Cece, and Crystal. We still have more. Sue is up in the house. Kendra, April, Brenda, and Jackie. It's nice to see you, Georgia, Patriot Woman. Oh, thank you, Jackie. I kind of like my channels myself. You know, it's kind of a free-flowing think tank, kind of, sort of, with a little bit of aggressive honesty. I like it because you go on TikTok. There's this lady on TikTok that does aggressive cooking, and I just absolutely love her stuff. It is so funny, you know. And she always asks, and everybody's wanting to know, is it any good? I don't know if you guys see her. I love her. I love her. She's great. She's great. So I want to get here to this little tidbit of information first, because, hey, Tulips, it's nice to see you. Cheyenne, it's great to see you. Candy, it's nice to see you as well. Assertive honesty. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Oh my gosh, 2 more. Oh my gosh, Ren, you outdid yourself. Gee, girl, it's nice to see you. Aggressive hospitality. What's that sign that we got? I'm not bossy. I got to go in the office. It's been a while, but I opened the door to the office, and I'm like, Mom, do you see what I'm dealing with here? Because I have all the papers from the Idaho 4 all in there on just about every single desk. It's such a huge, huge file. And I've got to go through all of it. So I am not, like, really not looking in my office. I don't see myself getting back into my office for at least 30 days. I can tell you that. Oh, shoot, that reminds me. I've got to do something tomorrow. Crap, I can't believe I forgot. Anyways, it's nice to see you. I'm not bossy. I'm the boss. I've got one. I got one when my ex-husband and I, were running the company. Everybody considered him the boss. So I got him cups. Like we were using Vistaprint at the time. Like every year they have sales on coffee cups. So I got him a coffee cup and I got me a coffee cup. And so for his coffee cup, it had our business logo on it. And on the back of it, it had his picture and it says the boss, right? So I put his picture on it and gave him a mug that says the boss. And then I did one for me that put my picture on it and I said the real boss. Well, hello, Los Angeles. CA girl, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. It's 91 in Jonesboro, Arkansas. I don't even know what temperature it is here. It actually wasn't too bad. I was out there. I have sand spurs. Ugh, I hate sand spurs. I have sand spurs. And so I was out there pulling some sand spurs because my yard man, the fired yard man, would just run over with the lawnmower. I've never ran over sand spurs in a lawnmower before in my life. If I see a sand spur poking out, I usually cut around it and take a shovel and pull it out. Because what happens when you go over your sand spurs with a lawnmower, it spreads their seeds and causes more sand spurs. So I'm out there digging them up. That's what I was doing for part of the day. I was a procrastinator today. I was a procrastinator. I studied, but I was a procrastinator for the most part. I had too much stuff going on and, the whole thing with this morning and then we did a live and then my mom came over. So I spent some time with her. She got to spend some time with Delilah. It was so cute. Delilah absolutely loves Mama Bullhorn. And Mama Bullhorn, she ended up leaving. She had to go get some groceries. I can't remember where she said she was going actually. But when she left, Delilah started crying. She literally started whimpering. So I was like, "Aw, I feel so bad for her. She really enjoyed her time with Mama Bullhorn." So, anyways, let's get on with this and see what happened. I haven't watched this. I just got it in the email. So let's find out what this is all about.
Because in some breaking news, a person has been shot and killed by police near where the Republican National Convention is being held in Milwaukee. Let's go to our Washington correspondent, Annalise Nielsen. She's live at the RNC for day 2 today. Annalise, what are the details that you've got so far?
Well, look, we're getting reports coming through of the shooting now. It doesn't seem to be related to what's happening at the RNC, but what is notable is how quickly law enforcement has responded, and there's reports on scene that there has been Secret Service personnel show up to analyse the situation. But this is over a mile from where we are now at Fiserv Arena, where the convention is taking place, and it does seem like it was two men having an argument in a park from those initial reports to local media. So it's not necessarily a cause for concern for people here, but I can tell you the security to get into this building is tight. This has been declared the hot zone. To get into the hot zone, you have to go through with Secret Service credentials that had to be approved about a month ago, and you have to have special passes to get through each layer of access to get here. They're checking for every single little thing. Even our car had to go through an x-ray. So the security is extremely high and very sensitive since what happened to Donald Trump over the weekend with this assassination attempt. But in the meantime, the convention goes on, and today's program is expected to focus.
It's funny. I did not know that they can literally take cars through a scanner. Did you guys ever hear that before? I never knew that. A car through the scanner? Like, that's like next level. That is like seriously next level. That is next level. I'm not going to go through all of it now that we know that it had nothing to do with them. But man, talk about craziness going on in our country, and why the violence has got to stop. Okay, this is not a gun problem in this country. I'm not going to go on a soapbox. This is not a gun problem. This is a people problem. We have a people problem in this country. We have too much aggression, too much anger, too much hate. We have a people problem in this country. In this country. And then another little tidbit, we talked about this earlier. Apparently, she accused Donald Trump of non-consensual kiss on her mouth, allegedly. What? And this lady, her name is Rachel Crooks. The reason why I keep bringing her up is because I don't know of any, I know of crooks, like legit crooks, but I haven't met a legitimate person with a Crooks last name, okay? And to have somebody that actually sued Donald Trump, that is with this ridiculous lawsuit, apparently, yep, that's her complaint. He kissed her on the mouth. She waited 11 years to sue him for kissing her on the lips, apparently, allegedly. And I just find that a little weird in a sense because her last name is Crooks. Her last name is Crooks. The assailant for this assassination, his last name is Crooks. Is there any relation? Has anybody looked to see if there's a Rachel Crooks in his name? Because you got to remember, she is a, I can't remember, hold on, let me see. I think she's a star of some sort. She was in some type of movie or something like that. I can't remember. And then we see Thomas Crooks in that Blackstone or Blackwater advertisement. There's something going on. She's probably got cooties now, Becky says. You cracked me up. I don't know if I was so offended by a person kissing me on the lips and I was because I'm so sue happy according to everybody, but I'm only suing one person, but apparently I'm the sue happy chick. But if I was a sue happy chick, I don't know if I'd wait 11 years to sue for somebody kissing me on my lips. And not only that, but if he kissed her on the lips, wouldn't that be like battery, an unwanted touch? Simple battery? Like, why didn't she get him? Why didn't she call the law? You know? Out of all these people that really have horrible things happen to them, I feel like Rachel Crooks was kind of mocking women that are truly essayed. You know? I don't know. There's a couple of other things that I wanted to go through before Dad burn it. I hate when it does that. Give me just a second. And of course it takes my, there it is. Where is it? Here it is. So this is interesting. So we know Katie, let me just give you guys the backdrop for those that are here that don't know about the Sebastian Rogers case. Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26, 2024 and has not been seen since. He was inside that home, inside a locked home, all windows, all doors secure, with his mother and his mother alone. She said he went to bed at 9 p.m. She said she heard one of her variations. She said she heard a thump or thud at 10 o'clock at night. In another variation, it was at 11:30 at night. And I think it's bounced between 10:30 to 11:30 since the onset of this, causing a little concern about that. She's adamant that she fell asleep on the couch. She's adamant that she got up slightly before midnight and went to her bedroom, and from that point she was asleep at midnight. So she was basically trying to say she was asleep from 10 p.m. all the way to 6 a.m. And I personally believe that she tried to tell law enforcement that she went to sleep around 10. And when they said, there's a phone call here, and it's a lengthy phone call, they had to say, she was slightly sleeping on the phone to corroborate their story. That's what I truly believe. So that's kind of where we're at. She said when she woke up at 6 a.m., she wakes up and went directly to his room to wake him up, and he was not there. She freaked out, got in her car, went here, went there, and went up to the school. And she was in a frantic, hysterical mood, and that her husband had, oh, by the way, she called her husband within 3 minutes of not finding her son, not law enforcement, her husband, that is literally 3.5 hours away. Why would she call him when he couldn't help her but couldn't call law enforcement? Long story short, about 30 minutes later, they decide to call law enforcement on three-way, where it is Chris Proudfoot that initiates the call. And if Chris Proudfoot is initiating the call on three-way, then Katie most likely wasn't talking, yet she wants us to believe she was hysterical. Now, my thing is, if he was on three-way and she was hysterical, I would think that in that 911 call, you would hear a bunch of sobbing, from her, because, why does it say held for review and not let me see the message? Okay, there it is. Show. Sorry. Oh, another moderator handled it. Took me forever to even look at it. I'm on the Samsung, not the iPhone, because I had all my stuff on the iPhone, and I'm like, why do I keep using the iPhone when I have this other phone I can use? I don't really necessarily like the speaker on it, but I think it's because of the casing around it. But at the end of the day, all of my work's on my iPhone. So when I get on here, I like to have my iPhone because all my work's on here, right? So long story short, here's what is being said here. So we know Katie said she drove around looking for Sebastian that morning. Didn't she say she drove to the school to check if he was there? If so, did they look into when the dumpsters at the school get emptied and to where? Did they search all those dumpsters? Has the entire area around the outside of the school, including the wooded areas, get grid searched? If she says she drove there, is that a hint of truth of where she had driven, since it would be on her GPS history? We actually brought this up on this channel. If you guys remember, we brought this up a little bit ago when I said, did she go inside that school, right? Because the way she stated that she woke up, Nancy Grace, as well as I believe Duchess. It might not have been Duchess. It might have been Smiley's World. It's between the two. I can't remember, but I definitely know Nancy Grace. I bring my other stuff in here. I did not bring my other book in here. Okay. But on Nancy Grace, she absolutely 100% says she wakes up at 6 a.m. She wakes up at 6 a.m. That was spoken directly out of her mouth on Nancy Grace, and it says lots of speculation. I don't know what that means, Jack. Are you saying lots of speculation on my part or lots of speculation on Chris and Katie's part? Because they speculated a lot too. They actually speculated that Sebastian walked out the front door, although the door was locked. They didn't see him after 9 o'clock. They didn't hear him after 9 o'clock, allegedly, except for the thud. And they have no clue why he went out. And when they were challenged on why they keep adamantly stating that he walked out the front door, their response was a little concerning for me. Oh, no, in chat. Gotcha. And their speculation when they were challenged on it was basically, they said, well, he wasn't here and there's only one door he could have locked. So we assume, remember Chris hates assumptions and speculation, yet he has no problem doing it to save his own hide. Like this, his stepson walked out the door and somehow locked it behind him. And then we learned that on Saturday, he went out to get the mail and he skipped up to that very front door and turned the handle and it was locked. So if he's accustomed to punching in the code on that door, why did he not punch the code in on that door and skip off that porch and go into the garage? We have eyewitnesses and the neighbor's videography to confirm that to be true. So that's a little concerning for me as well. And then we have Chris stating on Smiley's World when she asked whether somebody could have come into the home or not. And he slips up because he states that nobody could come into the, he's adamant that he's the protector and his house is secure. So he made a fatal flaw by saying, no, if somebody tried to get into our door, even though you can't see who they are, you can see a shadow or a figure at the door from the neighbor's camera at the Ring doorbell camera. So that was a fatal flaw because they said Sebastian walked out the front door, and therefore, if Sebastian walked out the front door, a figure or a shadow would have been seen leaving that home. And there was not. There wasn't even a video of the door opening and having radiant light come out it. But yet the neighbor's camera did pick up the turning on and off the lights in Sebastian's room. And they also picked up a figure after the last time the lights were turned off at 11:30, walking through the house and turning off the back light before all the lights in the house went dark. They called it dark. And some people that reached out to me believe that somebody might have pulled the main breaker to turn the lights off. But the weird part is that their camera was so sensitive that even when the person went up to the window to look out or peer out, the camera got the figure at the front window as well, giving almost a very creep vibe going on in that house that night. And just when that's not crazy or creepy enough, then later that night, about 3.5 hours later, there are light phenomenons on the outside of the house. There's a light over here. There's a light over here. This light appears to be following this light. And we see this other light turn on. And for the longest time, we couldn't figure out what that light was. Many people thought it was floodlights. I thought it was a car, but because I didn't understand the proximity to the construction site, I just kind of thought it was between, the construction site was kind of between or over on the other side behind the Proudfoots. And I thought maybe somebody turned the lights on and off to signal somebody to come on. And that was wrong. When Miss Bobby came out and told us that there was a vehicle, an unidentified vehicle there, I went back and checked the footage. And I took a picture of it, and I still couldn't figure it out, but I could see the lights. And so I started turning the image. And when I turned the image where the lights were kind of going straight, that's when I noticed the silhouette of the SUV. Some people have really been working on the image of the light source, and it appears, I got a screenshot of what appears to be a shadow around a human shadow. It's to be honest with you, I always am skeptical of photos, and I'm always skeptical of enhancements, right? Because I feel like people intentionally and willfully, in an effort for clicks and views, will manipulate images to have some type of breaking news. It's already happened in this case multiple times. We know it. We've had creators making up stories. We have other creators anonymously posting for their own content on their page. We got other content creators letting, anybody just call into their show and act like it's fact, not corroborate or confirm that these people are neighbors or anything like that, just being able to call in and talk about, whatever. And then that content creator is so offended by this other content creator that was busted for having people like it's a circus, right? It's a circus on the drama side of this case. And a lot of people doing stuff. So when it comes to these images, I'm always ultra skeptical. Did somebody overlay something? Is this a joke? But but one of the things is proportion, okay? Typically, the one thing that always helps me, like even that picture of what appears to be Sebastian on the side of the road with his thumb up, you can tell it was an overlay because the way the shoes are positioned on the side of the road and how they don't seem to be flat on the road, but seem to be, they put them right on the seam of where the grass and road meet. And you could tell by the shoes that it's definitely an overlay. Well, in this particular enhancement that I saw, and it's from a Brandy, someone like that on her page. I remember the first name being Brandy. The image, the shadow looks proportionate. It looks proportionate to the light. And, unless you are a professional at overlays and this type of overlay, it's hard to get the proportionate aspect of it just right. And so even though I can't corroborate this without creating it myself, and I haven't attempted to do that just yet, but I will start working on it. I just got some other things to do first. And it's not like this case is going away anytime soon, so I'm not in a rush. But we know that people are enhancing these photos, right? Brandy Gray, yeah. That's it, Janine. Brandy Gray. And you can see the shadow around the light, and it does look proportionate. So that's all I can really say about that. I have more belief in this photo than I have in a lot of the ones that have been created, and what have you. Hey, Misty, it's nice to see you. You're stressed? Oh no, your mommy's not doing well. Oh. Well, we're definitely going to pray for you. I know we have a lot of struggling people in our chat, some that are bedridden, some that are just struggling with life, right? Struggling with kids, just life. So prayers for all of you. We have some people struggling, families not doing well. They're not doing well. I got 2 mods that were in and out of doctors today, right? And it's like they're teasing each other that they're falling apart. I'm with you. I feel like I'm falling apart too. So definitely prayers for everybody that's struggling. Misty, I hope your mom really does feel better, and I hope you guys, get that stuff resolved. Let us know if we can do anything to help. I don't know what state you're in, but I know sometimes when you're dealing with, like, especially surgeries and stuff like that, sometimes you need blood, just other stuff. So just let us know if there's any way we can help you, in any way. So, and thank you guys. And, that's the family. Everybody's saying prayers for you. That's the strength of our family here. Give me just a second. Let me get back to where I was. Dad burn it. I don't like when they do that. Every time I go in here, it always, times me out. So getting back to the question at hand with Katie, I know we have the lights and stuff, and we've just discussed those. But the next morning we hear from multiple people. Okay, this is not one person or 2 people. This is quite a bit of people that allegedly saw Kathy Bowersox up at Worsham's General Store at 5:45. Approximately 15 minutes before anybody knew Sebastian was missing, including Katie herself, right? We hear that Katie went around the neighborhood. In the Chronicles of Olivia interview, in the first 5 minutes, Katie is describing how she was frantic. She said, "Where's my effing son?" And then she just immediately jumps in her car and starts driving around the neighborhood and up to the school. That was her story. And we find out from Miss Bobby that no, that's not accurate. According to the neighbor's camera, which has been turned over to law enforcement, Katie went across her driveway, backed out of the garage, went out and left her community, and apparently, allegedly, went straight to the school. or in the direction of the school, because the person with the camera, as well as Miss Bobby, didn't physically see where she went. It was only in the direction of the school. Now, I'd have to think, if a mom is freaking out, she just woke up, her kid's not there, she's calling her husband within 3 minutes, she's jumping in her car, not one time did she say she ever got dressed. Her specific story on every single channel, she can't go back and reword it now. We have many interviews with both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot, and she describes the same thing, almost like it's a script, right? I got up, I went to wake Sebastian up, he wasn't there, I looked around the house, I called my husband within 3 minutes. I was absolutely hysterical, is what she is describing to the public. She was absolutely hysterical. Chris, he was at work on the crane at 6 o'clock in the morning when she called. That's a lie. And he even goes as far as to provide convincing language of that by saying that his work earplug or work radio was in his ear, and he's listening to his wife, and he's like, what? He's gone, So he elaborates on this nonsense and goes as far as to say that she, he finally caught it, and he's asking her to please, go check here and go check there. And she's saying, our effing son's not in the house, as she's freaking out. But not one time did she say she went back into her room, brushed her teeth, combed her hair, and got dressed. She never said that anywhere in her entire story over these multiple, and I mean multiple interviews they did up front that we now have access to and can go back and review over and over again. Never once. But did she go into the school? Now, she says she went up there to check. Did she just do a drive-by? Her son's not in the bed. Do you think a mother that truly thinks that it's possible that her son walked out the door is not going to go inside the school and talk to the administrator and say, look, I woke up, my son was not missing, is he here? Because if she did not do that, if she did not physically go inside that school, I have questions. But here's the other kicker. She's stating that she went in that direction. When you go up there, I know a lot of people don't understand where the school is in conjunction with Worsham's. And I was just going to try to explain it to you, but I don't know why I would do that, right? Because we have this cool thing called Google Maps. So, there's your Google Maps. There is the school. And this right over here is Worsham's. School, Worsham's. School, Worsham's. It's literally right across the street. This is the road. Oops. This is the road right here that goes to Kellen. And you turn right here, where you take a left, but you take a left right here, and there is the store right across the street from the school. This is where Kathy Bowersox was allegedly seen in the parking lot. Right here. Right there. That's Worsham's. Worsham's General Store. It's just that close and in the direction of the school and the path of travel Katie Proudfoot was taking. So, did she go to the school or did she meet Kathy at the general store? That's a problem for me. That's a problem for me. Did they check the dumpsters? Okay, so this is to kind of answer the question. I'm going to assume here, okay? I'm going to assume here based upon statements from law enforcement. Our statements from law enforcement is that they thoroughly searched a 5-mile radius for Sebastian Rogers. That school and that store are in their radius. It's only about a mile to about a mile and a quarter up the road, if I had to guess. So, in my humble opinion, yes, they searched the dumpsters. Now, I don't know how big the dumpsters are there. I remember seeing, I think, one on the side of the store, but I wasn't paying attention to that. But this is the beach market that has the water behind it that I say was very concerning for me, because there is a drive that goes back to that water source, and now we have Katie going toward that location, and we have eyewitnesses stating that Kathy was there at 5:45. So there is a pond-like thing out the back of that. Now, was that checked? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think that it was, but in all fairness, it's an assumption, because law enforcement has not told us which bodyways they have cleared, or which lakes, retaining ponds, or anything like that have been cleared. I don't know. I just can see a path that goes back to it, and I can see the water. When I was there, I didn't realize that this was also the beach market, because I remember when Tony and Seth were asking if there's any places that I think were important. I sent them the places that I thought were important, but I remember telling them, if you do have, and he said, is it big enough for them to drop the boat in? I said, probably not. It's just like a retaining pond, maybe a John boat. I don't know how big it is. You know? I don't know how big it is. If there's any trolls in it, Jenny's got it right. Don't feed the trolls. If they are here, just delete them. I've got it on 5 days. They're not coming back. So if we have a zero tolerance for those that are new to this channel, we have a zero tolerance for nastiness. Don't be a Richard, which means in my terms, that's Sonia's terms. In my terms is don't be a dick. Okay. If anybody's going to be a dick in my chat, it's going to be me. Okay, so I expect everybody here to be adults. I expect everybody here to state their opinion and not spam the chat. And I expect everybody to treat everybody with courtesy, whether or not they believe in their position or not. If you don't believe in the position, there's several things you can do. If it just drives you absolutely nutty, you can go and block that individual yourself by just clicking on the circle next to their name, and you could block them and never have to see comments from them again. If I see it, you'll be blocked on this channel, and that means you'll never be able to comment unless you make up a new account. So I don't take people off my block list. I've learned that a long time ago. So I just expect everybody to treat everybody in chat with courtesy and respect. And you guys have a right to choose. I won't hear any nonsense about Seth. That's the only thing. You guys can talk about a lot of different parts of this, but Seth in this channel's eyes is also a victim. And we will not be degrading a victim of a crime on this channel. There is no justification for it. It's totally unacceptable. And that is a zero tolerance. We have a zero tolerance policy for it. So if you guys can just follow the rules of the chat, everybody should have a good time in chat. It's very simple. Don't forget to thumb this channel up. We have over 550 people here, only 172 likes. Why don't you go out there and give me the thumbs up, come back in, tell me what number you are, where you're from, what the temperature is, and give everybody kind of the forecast across the country and across the world. Thank you. And that's another thing. Robin says, Jackie says, And it said, no, wrong person. Hold on. I got to come up here. It's Tina. Sorry. Tina says Seth hasn't changed his story once, and he has not. Chris and Katie's story has had multiple variations of their story, and we here at the true crime genre know that that's never good. That is just the change of one aspect. If it's not a mistake or they just forgot to add it, is one thing. But we're finding out that a lot of key critical details times are changing quite a bit. And it doesn't make sense to us why those changes continuously happen. Seth is on camera and Seth absolutely has an alibi. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a protest up at Sumner County Sheriff's Office on August 26th. I'm working on the time, so we have the location and we have the date. So for all the people that need to take the day off work, see if they can have PTO time or something like that. If you guys choose to do that, you have plenty of time to get your affairs in order to be there if you'd like to be there at Sumner County Sheriff's Office. So we have the date and we have the location. I'm trying to decide what time I want to have it. If I want to have it in the morning, if I want to have how many hours I want it, if I want to do it in the afternoon. I am personally a morning person. I mean, we are the coffee club. I don't want to get up at the crack of dawn and start going out there, obviously. I'm going to have to change this, obviously. I feel like I'm Katie Proudfoot anymore. Obviously, I went to sleep, obviously. I was at midnight, obviously. I went straight to sleep, obviously, and I was asleep, obviously, right? Okay, enough of that. But for those that want to participate, again, people were asking whether to make signs. I'm trying to get about 20 signs out there personally, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be there. So please bring your own signs. What I would like on these signs, I don't want any rhetoric, okay? We're there for a very specific goal. One is communication to the community. Two, it is, clearing Seth and why they haven't brought Sebastian home, right? Why they haven't brought Sebastian home safely. Because those were the critical things that need to happen. Why there's no forensics there. So we're going to be coming from a place of love with this protest. It's going to be loud. I'm going to be bringing my bullhorn, and I'm going to be, doing things and explaining things the way that I do and explain things. Hopefully we get a response from law enforcement before August 26th. Not necessarily a response to me, but updating Seth. Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why I chose to take this route is because Seth deserves answers, and he's not getting those answers from law enforcement. And it's getting to the point where his son has been missing for 6 months, and somebody needs to say something. And somebody needs to explain why we do not have forensics of their home or any other type of forensic testing of their home. The biggest question, I think, goes back to what Tony had asked months ago. Are they any further today than they were on February 26th? And why law enforcement has been unwilling to answer that question is beyond me. It should be, it doesn't go to the integrity of the investigation. It just gives a father a little peace of mind. And this law enforcement body will not even do that. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And so another part is I truly believe a problem here in Tennessee is the fact that they don't have the right funding. And I'm going to implore that legislatures in Tennessee start funding their law enforcement in Tennessee. Enough's enough. Tennessee needs help. Law enforcement need money. And Tennessee has money. So there's no excuse for what we're dealing with. Now, they are, in my opinion, a broker state, especially some of these areas. But some of these areas in Tennessee are very, very wealthy. And I know Tennessee is making taxes, right? There's road taxes. There's sales tax. Does Tennessee have sales tax? I'm pretty sure I paid sales tax the last time I was there. Hotel and motel tax. There's so much taxes. Everything. There's not one thing. I'm surprised. You know what? Even oxygen ain't free, right? They charge us for every damn thing. They tax the crap out of us. Tennessee's got money. They're not spending the money in the right ways, in my opinion. They have no proper infrastructure out there for internet. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of holes. And at the end of the day, it's not just about explaining all the things that are wrong. It's about coming up with solutions to take the wrong and make it right. And at the end of the day, I see this in Tennessee as being a problem. They need law and order, and their law and order needs to be funded. Period. And I think if they have better funding, they get better officers with better training. Better training means better policing. It means communities are safer. What are you doing? Hi. Are you enjoying it under there? Is it a maze yet? Okay. Good gracious. She's burrowing mazes all through my bed. She's under this cover. She doesn't know where she's going. She's just going. She's just going. AKA, obviously, it's Chris or one of it. It could be. If somebody in here, just kick them out. If they're being rude, just kick them out. There's zero tolerance. Maybe I've already addressed it. I don't know. So, please don't engage with the trolls. Yeah, don't engage with the trolls. There's no point in arguing with idiots. Okay, if you argue with an idiot, guys, you guys know my policy on it. Would you like to say hi to everybody? Is that why you're such a jelly bean? Good gracious. Everybody can hear you. You are literally a jelly bean right now. What are you doing? Do you know what you're doing? You're becoming a spoiled little brat. She's becoming a spoiled little brat because mommy's making her a spoiled little brat. She's got toys here. She's got toys in the living room. She's so sweet. She's so sweet. She says, hi, coffee club. I love it. She loves my breath after I drink coffee. She does. She loves my breath after I drink coffee. Oh, she's a little baby. She's just a baby. She's just a baby. Okay. Get under the covers. She likes burrowing under the cover, but she's always got to touch me. Like no matter what, she's got to touch me. A foot, a tail, it doesn't matter. Her ear. And every time I move, like she can be like sawing logs, and like I try to get up so quietly, right? So quietly. And she's just like, boing, boing. Where are you going? I'm ready to go with you. I know. So I just think that this whole thing, even with her driving and Kathy being up there at the potentially up at the Warshoms, I believe she was. Hands down, no questions asked. I believe that was her SUV outside of down the road on Stafford. I think it was Kathy at Warshoms. I think there's something obviously happened. Period. Okay. There was things going on inside that home. There was things going on outside the home, and there was weird things going on the next morning that doesn't make sense. And in addition to that, we have a boy missing where all these things were going on around. It's concerning. And then we have to boot Chris Proudfoot leaving for 17 hours, and nobody knows where in the world that he went. Nobody can tell us where he went. He won't tell us where he went. Why can Katie tell us what they did the day before, what she did that day of? Seth can tell us what he did the day before and what he did the day of because he was at work, right? He works overnight into the morning. Can you imagine Seth's life right now if he didn't have the job he had with all the hate and nastiness on these platforms? This man did nothing wrong. He's completely innocent. And the baboons and hyenas on these platforms would have tore that man up. I mean, heck, this man is literally seen in jail on cameras. And you guys have seen what these people do to him. It's problematic for me. It's wrong. It's just wrong. No matter how you look at it, it's just wrong. One person says this nonsense YouTube person put me in time out because I said in chat is bashing other YouTube creators helping find Sebastian. Well, it's because the hate lives. They have no content, first and foremost. They have no facts on their side, first and foremost. And they try to tell their audience what to think or how to think, or what to think, not how to think, right? They're telling them, oh, this is law enforcement hasn't told us crap. If it's not for people putting information together, you wouldn't have crap. These people are so they actually have no life. They have no scruples. They are these people are the most uneducated people on the streets of YouTube. This is the ghetto trash on YouTube that people pipe into because they think it's funny. Or they think, oh, it's Bash Betty. Really? I look for kids. I look for people. I use they don't even use their money to buy banners and stuff, but yet they expect it from me, and I have to show them receipts of where I spend my money, but they can collect thousands of dollars in super chats and super stickers and all this stuff, but they don't have to contribute to anybody but themselves because they're selfish. Get it together, folks. These people ain't good, and they're leading you astray. You know what they're doing? They're doing all this stuff. They're inciting their base to make people believe that it's wrong to help these cases. They're literally inciting their base, trying to act like what I do is illegal, it's corrupt, or something else. It's a lie. It's a lie to line their own pockets. And then when they have money, they spend it on marijuana, alcohol, and other substances, but refuse to help anybody in these cases. Why don't you guys go over to these hate channels of like bashing other creators and ask them, what have they, make them show the receipts for where they're spending their hundreds and thousands of dollars on, right? What have they contributed? Can they prove that they've posted a flyer? Can they prove that they purchased a flyer? Can they prove that they bought a banner? Can they prove that they actually got off their ass and went out in the woods and physically searched for somebody? Have they gotten blisters on the bottom of their feet from searching in a swamp 20 miles? I guarantee they can. I can. I can. I absolutely can. They don't care about these cases. They don't care about these cases at all. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about their families. All they care about is running interference in these cases. That's it. They're horrible people doing horrible things. Horrible people doing horrible things. And they never give back. Ever. Because they're so freaking selfish. It's all about them. That's why they can't stand me. Because I do it all. I do it all. I give back. I work my ass off. I get out there in the trenches. I fight for these people. I fight for these cases. I do whatever it takes for them while they're still sitting at home behind their computer in their mommy's basement with their thumb up their butt. 141 days and Sebastian remains missing. I search every day for updates, but sadly there has been nothing that is new information. The Sumner County Sheriff's Office assures me they have not given up on finding him, and neither has TBI, but they simply don't have anything new to report. It's as if he just stepped out of Nope. He never stepped out of his home. There's no proof of that. It's as if he just stepped out of his home and vanished, but they are encouraging everyone to please keep sharing his flyer. I try to. The Proudfoots like ripping him down. I don't understand that, but we definitely know what they are. So TBI, law enforcement, Seth, me, everybody in the world saying, keep these flyers up, keep these posted, but Chris and Katie, they're going and ripping them all down because they don't want to see his face. They don't want him found. I don't understand why. It's as if he stepped out of his home and vanished, but they encourage everyone to please keep sharing his flyer and information on every social media in hopes that they will come forward with tips needed to bring him home. If you have any credible information, please contact 1-800-TBI-FIND. Please refrain from sharing false information such as speculation you heard on YouTube, Facebook, or elsewhere as fact, as this only hurts the investigation into his disappearance. That is absolutely correct. When you call into law enforcement because you heard something on YouTube or social media or something like that, it absolutely does hinder law enforcement because they've got to stop what they're doing and look into that. That's why it was so problematic when people were saying that they know that Chris, that they got $500 to hide this and hide that. Those all had to be turned over to law enforcement. Those were all posted for somebody to pick up and use for content. And law enforcement literally had to stop what they were doing because they were so damaging with the information. They had to source those people. And they had to find them and make sure that what they were saying was false. That took 3 days. One of those took, when I talked to the major, he told me it took him 3 days. 3 days. That is without doubt hindering the investigation when a major that's investigating this case has to take time out of his ultra busy day to chase down bunk leads that were only designed to create content for some bozo on one of these platforms. So going back again, if you do not have firsthand knowledge or you don't know somebody with firsthand knowledge, please don't call it in. Sometimes you need to call in secondhand information when the first party refuses to come forward, right? That happens all the time. So I totally understand that you may not have firsthand information, but you know the person that does. And so you call that in. That's perfectly acceptable. But hearing something or hearing a spirit box or hearing something like that and calling it in as a tip, it's honestly just taking away from the case. So, just heed this advice. This is coming from Find Sebastian Rogers group. And again, this is, I believe, Seth's group, if I'm not mistaken, or the group that's being sponsored, that's doing this for Seth, rather. So, I didn't realize, look at those. I love Sonia. I love all of her stuff. Do you guys know that, unless you guys buy a shirt, you really don't know this? But Sonia puts these, I gave this little bag because, my girl likes to chew, right? But in these bags are typically a little plastic, Ziploc insert. And in those, and it may not even be in a plastic Ziploc insert, but there are cards in here. And when you pull the cards out, the cards are of missing people. So every time anybody all over this country purchases a shirt from Sonia, she's making sure that there is missing person flyers for Sebastian, Layla Santinello, and other people. And I just thought, I should share that because for the longest time, I never even realized Sonia did that. And so I just thought it was really neat because she's doing her avocation, and people are like, so what? Those little cards, that stock paper, it all costs money, right? She's doing her part. And the people that are out there criticizing her, what are they doing? Definitely not their part. So I always want to bring that up. I thought that was good because somebody was asking about the milk carton, right? Well, this isn't a milk carton, right? But she's able to get the messaging out for missing people, and I just thought it was an amazing idea to do. So just God bless her. I just thought I should say that because I see this right there, and this is just another thing that she does. She helps. She does what she can. She does her part. She does her part. Now, not everybody can do something like this, right? Not everybody can do something like this, but you can still do your part. You can share flyers around. You could post flyers. There's a lot of people that don't have a lot, but you can share a Facebook feed, or you can, share their poster on your Facebook to your friends so they see it. For those that are out in this area, anywhere between Hendersonville and Memphis, you can do your part because if say there's a convenience store worker that's your neighbor that works at a convenience store on I-40, in the path of travel for Chris, maybe share Chris's photo with them and ask them, can they ask their people at the convenience store if they've seen him anytime in February, if they remember anything odd at night, or if they had a weird, something going on that didn't make sense to them at that time, that might make sense to them now. Everybody has their ability to do their part. Don't ever forget that, and don't ever sell yourself short because you think you don't have this or you don't have that. But you have yourself, and you have your mouth. And everybody has a phone, and you can download a picture of Chris, Katie, and Sebastian. And if you're in those paths of travel, walk and talk, right? Go up there and say, hey, I'm in here every week. How you doing, Joe Blow? Right? I was thinking, I didn't think about it before, but I realized there's a missing kid in Hendersonville. Have you ever heard of him? His name's Sebastian Rogers. If you haven't, here he is. Have you ever seen this kid before? No? How about this guy? You seen him? No? What about this woman? Have you seen her? Well, yeah, she was in here a few weeks ago. Right? You never know. You never know. Everybody has their ability, especially the people in the Tennessee area that are in this path of travel. You guys have a lot that you can offer to this case, and you don't even realize it. Like, it's you. You can offer you, right? Download Chris's photo, download Katie's photo, download Sebastian's photo. If you're in those areas, in the hot zone area, ask, talk. You never know. You might be the key. You might help uncover the nugget. Don't ever sell yourself short. That's what the power of social media is. That's what the power of this true crime genre is. It's always thinking of what we can do, right? Don't ever think you can't do anything. You are a powerful person, and you can do a lot. Aw, this is our beloved. See, even look at River. River's posting and advocating. That's our River. Thank you, River. Thank you. God bless you. That's our River there, advocating for Sebastian. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I would like to know who has been following this case from at least the first month, and who has anything recorded or knows about anything that could be vital in this case. Desperately want to help find Sebastian. I'm starting back over today, looking back from everything I personally have from the first week. Sebastian deserves to be found. If we do not feel comfortable posting here, you can always private message me. We do not share anything outside of our team. unless it's to LE, and that's on Find Sebastian Rogers website. That's on Find Sebastian Rogers website. They're calling anybody that could help. And this is what we do quite often. We always go back to the beginning. Maybe you guys could too. You know, start going back to those screenshots you guys captured, you know, at the beginning. Start looking through them. Is anything standing out to you now? You know, we always talk about going back to the interviews, but what about the screenshots? You know, we haven't really looked at the screenshots in a while. Maybe go back through your camera roll. Is something sticking out to you? If something is sticking out to you, if something is sticking out to you, then post it or send it to me. We want to see these things because I was screenshotting. Think about it. We all had different theories 4 months ago. So different things and different statements on these platforms were different at that time, right? We were focusing on certain aspects, but I wasn't focusing on everything. So somebody may have screenshots I've never seen. So what do I think? We all know what I think happened, okay? I absolutely 100% believe something transpired inside their home around 10 p.m. If I had to guess, more in line with 9:43 or 9:46, just shortly before that time frame, I believe something happened inside that home. I believe something happened inside that home. One of two things, okay? I'm on the fence because you guys know how I believe. I'm statistics. I'm a statistical person. And statistics kind of suck in this case, okay? Let's just cut the BS. The statistics suck in this case. According to the statistics, we know statistically Sebastian will not be here. However, here's the issue. We know he did not willingly walk out the front door, okay? I believe he was removed from that home between 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning. Something happened at 9:43. He was removed from the home between 4:30 or 3:30 to 4 in the morning, and he was never seen again. He was never seen again. So if you're in the area, you guys need to be looking at boxes, you know, and I the waterways. It's hard to get away from the water. Chris and Katie are Navy. Navy implies water. Chris was gone for 17 hours. 7 of those hours are just travel time. He didn't have a boat with him. But I feel like water is a very, very strong possibility. We know that Seth and Tony went out in the boat with their team. This was a search efforts of areas that their PI found and asked them to check out. Tony had not only a great sonar, but he also had live scope and the ability to live scope. So it helped them quite a bit. There were, I don't have my notes right with me. There were about, maybe I do. Definitely do not. I believe he said, I'm going off memory and I've had a lot of stuff going on today, so bear with me if I'm not 100% accurate on this, but I believe he said about 6 separate locations over the 3-day period of items of interest. And upon review, those items of interest ended up being nothing burgers. And quite frankly, I know that Seth was relieved about that. Okay, Mod Squad. Hey, Guidance. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing well. Well, they had someone that they unalived about a mile away. Let me read this, guys. We're getting a report that a 21-year-old male subject has been arrested wearing a ski mask and armed with an AK near the Republican National Convention.
An armed man in a ski mask has been arrested while approaching the Republican National Convention. Security services found a 21-year-old armed with an AK-47 pistol while conducting security sweeps of the area. It's the second security incident in the RNC's vicinity today as a man was shot and killed earlier today. Officers fired their weapons when two men were reportedly fighting and one pulled out a knife. The incident took place about 2 kilometres from the convention site. It does not appear related. It shows how quickly police are moving there. An armed man in a ski mask has been arrested while approaching the Republican National Convention. Security services found a 21-year-old armed with an AK-47 pistol while conducting security sweeps of the area.
Let me see what else we got. And I think that was about it. This was 2 hours ago. Let's read the whole article here. That was a little confusing. So it said armed man in ski mask arrested while approaching. So this is definitely a separate event. A armed man with an AK-47 pistol and wearing a ski mask was arrested Monday just blocks from Pfizer Forum, where the Republican National Convention is being held in Milwaukee. A federal law enforcement source confirms to Fox News. Homeland Security investigators and Capitol Police were conducting surveillance near the RNC perimeter when they noticed a suspicious man approaching. He was wearing a ski mask and carrying a tactical bag, Fox News source confirmed. Inside the bag, police found the gun and a full magazine. His intentions were unclear. Another angry 20-something-year-old. We're going to be talking about this for a while. Milwaukee police confirmed the incident to Fox News, saying a 21-year-old man was arrested around 1 p.m. on Monday at the 1200 block of North 11th Street. Police said the man does not have a concealed weapons license in Wisconsin or any other state. Charges are pending review by Milwaukee County District Attorney Office, police said. Fox News reached out to the Secret Service about the incident and was referred to Milwaukee Police. Fox News also reached out to Homeland Security Investigation and the Department of Homeland Security, but has not heard back. This is not the only disturbing security concern to take place at the RNC. On Tuesday, a man was shot and killed by police about 2 miles from Pfizer Forum. A witness told Fox News the man lived in a nearby homeless camp and was brandishing a knife when he was shot. I have problems with the whole shooting of people. I remember when here in Manatee County there was a machete-wielding assailant, and it was like he had a knife, you had a gun. You couldn't have shot and injured him. Unfortunately, law enforcement shoot to kill. Okay, not maim, not injure. If you are a threat to somebody's safety, including theirs, they have the right to take you out. Okay, and they have probable cause to do so. But I feel like sometimes I think that they need to teach law enforcement. Sometimes hitting a kneecap is a little better than it's a knife. Certainly, you could have disarmed that man without the loss of his life. But again, we don't know that to be the case. He could have been charging at them with a knife and they had no other way to stop him than, you see what I'm saying? So we don't know the situation. I just hope that law enforcement always remembers, you know, human life needs to be taken into consideration here if there is truly a threat. I remember, back in the day, my ex, we were young, this was when we were in high school and stuff like that. It was a guy I was dating in high school. I was in love. I was going to marry this guy, right? Okay. I was like 14 years old. And of course, we were troublemakers back then, but I wasn't near as bad as Brian was. And I remember he was going through a lot of stuff in his own house, and the law enforcement came there, and he was a young kid. I think at the time he did this, he was going through this. I heard about it. I wasn't a witness to it or anything like that, and it happened before I started dating him. But he took a baseball bat, and law enforcement, Palmetto police, had their guns put on him, but he was a young kid, and this officer took a beating with a bat. And they had every right to use lethal force, and that officer chose to be beaten with a bat because he couldn't hurt a kid. So I just want to throw that out there because, obviously that was many, many, many years ago. But they were taught to value, to the loss of life is the absolute last case scenario. Try to disarm, try to protect life at all costs, even when the people don't want their life to be protected. Some people do things because they don't want to do it themselves, and they use law enforcement to do it. So we have to remember that as well, and I know law enforcement does. But I think it's just a bad situation. But I would like to hear more about, maybe some kneecap shots if somebody's wielding a knife or machete. I mean, it's not a projectile, right? It's in their hand. They have to be within X, Y, Z feet of you in order for that to be a dangerous weapon. So, it might have been a situation where they were within striking distance and they had no choice. So we don't know what the situation was, but I just thought I'd throw, some of that out there. On Tuesday, Representative Derek Van Orden, a Republican in Minnesota, said he was assaulted by a protester. He said a member of Code Pink assaulted him while he was waiting in line to enter the venue. He called it an incident of political violence. And I think in all fairness, our political, it needs to be a civil right. We have a right to be who and to vote how we want. And I think at this point in this climate, if you are targeting somebody for their political, it should be a hate crime. It should be a hate crime. Because people are losing their life over politics. It should be a hate crime. Period. Code Pink said the woman was intentionally bumped into by this bald white member of Congress. Sounds very racist to me. While he tried to shove past her. I highly doubt that. The activist group denied Orden was assaulted. I disagree with that. It's an activist group, okay? This all comes at Tuesday's theme of the RNC, Make America Safe Once Again. The former President Donald Trump has called to address crime in Milwaukee. So there was somebody, another 20-something-year-old, another disgruntled 20-something-year-old with a gun. We do not have a gun problem in the United States. We have a people problem in the United States. People that think if they want something done and they don't get their way, they can take it at all cost. This is from the rhetoric, like the summer of love nonsense. Anything but love. Anything but love. Well, I'm glad that they were able to get this 20-something-year-old behind bars without him losing his life or anybody else losing their life. Parents, this child lived at home with their parents. Just like the 20-year-old lived at home with his parents. If you guys got 20-something-year-olds living with you, it's time for you to have a talk with them. If they're under your roof, now they can get out if they don't want to follow your rules. Okay? I just want to remind all the parents out there. After the age of 18, you are no longer responsible for your children unless you choose to be. And quite frankly, if you keep letting them live in your house and still sucking off your tit, you're doing them a disservice. The real world, as you know, is tough. And you can keep coddling your children, or you can kick them out of the nest and let them fly. I can tell you, if you continue to coddle them, they're never going to live or stand on their own 2 feet. I had to live through the school of hard knocks. Many of my people in here had to live by the school of hard knocks. It brings out character. It shows your children what strength they have. You're always there to help, in part, but it's time for them to get the F out. You've been parents long enough. Pray to God that your parenting skills work in the real world. But this nonsense here, you guys these 20-somethings need to get a life of their own. I'm getting very upset because these things keep happening, and we know that the parents know that there's something seriously wrong with their kids, and they are in complete and utter denial and refuse to get their children help before it gets to this point. And then they act so shocked when it gets to this point. This is what I found out. I found out that Thomas Crook's father called law enforcement when he heard of the shooting. That tells me one thing and one thing alone. He knew his son was capable of it, and he was concerned when he heard it. I can tell you, my family wasn't calling law enforcement. Your family wasn't calling law enforcement, right? His family was. And that really upsets me, because they knew there was something wrong with their child, and they chose to stick their head in the sand until he erupted on an innocent person. Don't allow your child, get your child help. Please, get your child help. It's better than the scenario we're dealing with at the Butler, Pennsylvania rally for the parents of that child. And now this other parent is now going to have to worry about their child. But thank God their child gets to come home. It may be a long time before he gets to come home, but he's going to come home. He's still breathing. He is lucky. He is 100% lucky. Are these recruits? Army bag. Are these recruits? Who's recruiting these young people? Something is going on, and they're using 20-something-year-olds to accomplish it. Your children are in jeopardy of whatever this is. Find out what your kids are doing. You're still a parent. They're still living under your roof, and if they don't want to comply, it's time for them to go. Period. Time for them to go. Get a job, go to school, do something with your life, Not my problem. It's time for you to go. Parents have got to start being parents again. You don't take care of your children until they're 40. Okay? It's not normal. It's just not normal. It's just not normal. Sorry. Not sorry. That's a little problematic. 2 events that close to the RNC. There's something in the water. There's something in the water. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, by the way. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. E. It's nice to see you, my loves. Brian, Krista, it's nice to see you as well. I think that's really all I really wanted to cover for tonight's stuff. So, time for Jax to get a job. I'm telling you, I got a job but see, I was different. And my mom can attest to it. I was different. I wanted to get a job. I did not want to be under their thumb. I wanted to have my own stuff. I wanted to be out of the house. I wanted, like, I bought my first house when I was 24 years old. I had different dreams. I just wanted to do. It's just the way I was taught. When you get out, you go to, but nowadays everything's so unaffordable. People can't buy houses. I mean, these kids the rent's out of control, but these kids got to be smarter with what they're going to college for or going to trade school for. It doesn't matter. Parents should not be pitying their kids. You should be instilling in them goals and achievement, and you can do anything you set your mind to. Go out and do it. Just saying. Cost of living is not helping this at all. No, it's not. And the kids are going to have to work 2 and 3 jobs. But to be honest with you, when I was their age, I was working 2 or 3 jobs. Everything was unaffordable for me too. You know what you do? What you do is this. You have one of them buy a house, you rent out the rooms. That's what I did. That's how I survived. That's how I survived with my first house. It makes it ultra affordable. And if the roommates want to throw rent money away, it's going to be cheaper rent for them. And your child is getting all the equity and setting themselves up for the future. That's how you do it. I'm not saying don't use roommates. Just don't rent and use roommates. Purchase and have your roommates help you. That's how I did it. Get a damn education. Turtle Madness got it. Kick them out. Trade. You either get a job, go to college, or go to trade school. Those are your options. Those are your options. This allowing your kids to just live at the house and do absolutely nothing. What? You didn't get that. I didn't get what? We got to do more. We got to do better. We have a lot of angry 20-something-year-olds in this country, and there's a reason. And I want to know why our public education system is producing murderers. What in the hell are they doing to our children in these schools? This is not normal. This is not normal at all. Hey, Seth, it's nice to see you. I hope everything's going well for you. I hope, I'm glad you guys didn't find anything out there in the waters. I really am. And I'm sorry you had to deal with a butthead. That's all about them, remember. My middle son just moved out, 28. He had to get an apartment with his older brother and a third friend. Washington State is so expensive. It is expensive, but you know what? Washington State, from what I hear, is cheaper than the University of Idaho. Careful. I'm sorry, Serenity. All I can think of is Brian Koberger. Do. I mean, funny, not funny. Funny, not funny. I hope, everybody's praying for you. And We went over a few things, but I'm glad you missed them. I'm glad you missed them. I'm going to be closing up right now, Seth. So, who ran the sonar? I can tell you, Busby, who ran the sonar. It was Tony. So, Betty, the children are told from elementary age they have rights, and the rights are above parents and social worker. I get it, Emily. And that's when you paddle their little ass and say, no, it's not. Call and report this. And when the DCS comes there, say it is my right to rear my child. To rear my child. I'll tell an officer to get bent real quick if they come up to me, right? You have a right to rear your child. You don't have a right to abuse your child. Nobody can take away your right to smack that ass. I don't care what they say. What they say and what the law says are two totally different things. So don't forget, belts are still, you can still get them for $9.99 at the local Walmart. If you need one and you can't afford one, let Bullhorn Betty know. I'll buy you one. I'd rather have some whooped kids than murderers. You don't let anybody tell you. You don't let the freaking government tell you how to raise your damn children. That's your first mistake. Sorry, not sorry. Government should not be in the family home. Sorry, not sorry. Abuse is abuse. Rearing a child is absolutely 100% above board in all 50 states. And again, if you need a belt, sort of more says $3 at the thrift store. Yeah. If you need a belt, I'll happily send you one. I got a few around here. My grandkids, sometimes all you just need to do is pop them, right? That's what I did. I popped that thing loud. I'm like, you don't act right. I'll paddle your butt, right? Got to get that mad dog face on. I'm gonna paddle that butt. Get in there and clean that room, right? Right? Okay, I'm cleaning the room. You didn't even need to touch them. You just need to mad dog it, man. That's what you need to do. Mad dog it and have one of those loud leather belts that just pop and get their attention, right? And if that's not good enough, you take it and you smack the edge of that couch and you get their attention. Get in there and clean up damn room. I got this. My grandchildren only had to stand in the corner. But don't think I didn't mad dog it or pop a belt. I surely popped that belt. Got my thickest leather one. You guys know how to do that. You kind of loop it over and you grab the end and you kind of scrunch it in the middle and you pop it. Like I said, you got a problem with your kids, you send them on over here to Bullhorn Betty. I know I joke about the little ones, okay? The little ones are a little different, right? I do fill them up with sugar and I send them home with a bullhorn and some clappy things, like little dollars clappy things. I did that to my stepdaughter. Oh, she ticked me off one day. She left those kids with me entirely too long. So I knew she was coming to pick them up. I took them to the dollar store. Or actually, I didn't take them to the dollar store. I went to the dollar store and I picked them up a bunch of toys. And the toys that I picked up were every single loud toy you can imagine. You know, those little plastic hands that you just go like this and it's right? Everything that was loud, I bought them for, and I gave each and every one of them one of each. And she's like, I can't believe you did that. Well, I can't believe you left them here with me this long. Enjoy. Get out. Go home. Just like that. Just like that. Telling you, I got this stuff down pat. I may not be a mom, but I'm a mom, okay? And you could ask my stepdaughter that. Me and her loved each other, but she didn't like me at times because I made her deal with her own consequences, right? You didn't come in here on time. Do you want me to watch the kids? No. Why? Because the last time I watched the kids and you told me you were going to be here at 11, you didn't come home until the next day. Take them with you. Next time you need me to watch them and you tell me you're going to be here at 11, you better have your butt here at 11. But no, I got things to do tonight. I can't watch them. What are you doing? I don't know. I'm watching something. Have a good night, honey. Consequences. Give them choices. Right? Ideas, guys. Ideas. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my conversation. I got a sleepy puppy here. I've been rolling through quite a busy day, and I'm ready to call it a day. So you guys have a wonderful night. I love each and every one of you from Australia, around the world, and even in my backyard, like Guidance. Guidance, have a good night. I see ya. Bye-bye. I'm going to go in the right direction. Bye-bye. Bye. All right, guys, I love you. God bless. We'll rock it out with your coffee beans out. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, don't be the crap here on these streets and be kind to one another. God bless.